Ojude, a sleepy ancient town in Ogun State, can be found 100 kilometers northeast of Lagos. History, culture, and pride drip from every orifice of the place. And for one day every year, it's host to arguably the most historic yet modern showcase of Yoruba culture. A festival that turns skeptics into believers, mere men into warlords, women into queens, and children into guardians of the future. This is Ojude Oba. The pride of the Ijebu people. And a rice special. Celebrating our roots and preserving our future. That is the theme of the 2025 edition of Ojude Oba. Now, the words Ojude Oba translate in English to mean the king's forecourt. It's a festival that dates back centuries, back during the reign of Awujale Afidipote. Now, Afidipote was Awujale of Ijebu Kingdom from 1850 to 1883. He ruled during a period of significant economic influence for Ijebu land, controlling coastal trade with Europeans. Ojude Oba began as a gesture of gratitude from Muslim converts who were allowed to practice their faith freely. But over time, it's evolved into a grand celebration that includes various cultural and religious groups, transcending its Islamic origins to become a unifying event for all Ijebu people.
Ojude Oba has gone beyond an Ijebu Day festival. It has become a festival of international repute, attracting our sons and daughters and visitors from all over the world. And we're indeed very proud as a state that we've managed to evolve to this level. Ogun State has been known as the industrial capital of Nigeria because we have more industries here than in any other state. We've been known to be the education capital of Nigeria because we have more secondary schools, more universities than any other state in Nigeria. But now, we are now known to be the culture capital of Nigeria. Now, we have our youths, our children coming from England, America. They've been here for like a week practicing horse riding, wanting to be a part of it. They have found Ojude Oba appealing and they are all here live. So I am extremely excited that this is happening before my very eyes.
Ojude Oba is a distinctly colourful festival. Taking credit for that vibrancy are the Regbe groups categorised by their ages who dress in unison and are among the first arrivals at the festival. Age groups compete for best dressed and it's fierce. For months, the fabrics and materials will be kept a secret so that rival groups won't have the opportunity to copy or sabotage.
We have been doing this now for the past 15 years that we have been a member of this Regbe. And since then, we have been growing in numbers all over the world. We have a member in America, in Canada, in London, and in Ireland. And we are growing every day. Because we have numbers and our outfit, we complement it with walking stick, which is make us unique. And I believe because we have the number and we are well coordinated in marching, and I believe we are going to win it.
So it's very important for us to be here today because we enjoyed our culture and we come and say hello to our king.
It is an important event. If you won't argue with me, this is the biggest socio-cultural event in Nigeria. And I can argue it maybe in West Africa. What we do is every year we have a committee. The committee we go, today we have a fantastic member, one of us. His name is Abiodun Oreyi. He's a fantastic guy with his team. They come out with this outfit for us, and at the end of the day, everybody loves it, including me.
I want that.
Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun himself, took his attire seriously, adorning an outfit which encompasses the traditional Sonyo Ashoke and damask materials with a modern flair. It's commonly believed that it was at Ojude Oba that the families of the war heroes led by the reigning Balogun and deputies exhibited their equestrian prowess with a colourful display made an outing. Balogun Kuku was the de facto leader of Ijebu Muslims during the military subjugation of the Ijebu by the British in the early 20th century. His conversion to Islam in 1902 had been a major loss to Christian missionaries. His descendants donned white and red for their outing this year. And looking on from the royal pavilion was Ogbeni Oja and Olorogun Dr. Sonny Kuku, who stood in for 91-year-old Awujale of Ijebu land, Obasiku Kayode Adetono, who was unable to attend in person.
It's an opportunity to pay homage to our revered Kabiyesi, who has done very well for us. Then thereafter, it unites all the Ijebus. And thirdly, which is selfish, it was my great-grandfather that started the Ojude Oba festival. And it's so beautiful that 150 years later, it's still going.
Another notable name in Ijebu history is that of Balogun Jinodu Alatishi, who remains the longest reigning Balogun of Ijebu land. His grandson, Adedoyin Alatishi, has taken it upon himself to continue this family legacy.
I've been a rider for the longest time. I've also been a spectator. When I was a spectator, I was constantly feeling the pulse of the people in terms of what they wanted, how they wanted to be taken care of and all that. So I waited for my time to climb up the ladder in the family in terms of decision making. And the moment we started getting it right, we didn't even have to advertise anything. People were constantly coming to, and every year the numbers kept going up. Last year, 1,200 Ankaras. The year before last was 1,000. This year was 1,500. And it had been sold out about 3 weeks before Ojude Oba. Because I was always posting on social media, talking about Ojude Oba consistently since 2015, when it wasn't that cool, I had so many of my Twitter followers that actually joined our procession this year.
It's all intentional, from the clothes and accessories worn by the riders, the family members and guests, as well as the horses. Alatishi's purpose-built stable is an example of how seriously his knowledge, care and consideration of his horses go.
So these are local losses. I mean, not like we can't afford the Argentines and other breeds, but for what we want to do, which is to get the horses dancing, stepping and all that, the local horses are the best breeds in that aspect. And in terms of costing, I think my best horse ever cost me about maybe $1 million. I have horses here that cost maybe about 3.5, 2 million and all that. I have 2 dedicated grooms. They don't do any other thing other than to take care of my horses.
Horses are seen on his jewellery as a symbol of equestrian heritage of this ancient place. Outside the Awujale's palace, this sculpture of a horse was unveiled, showcasing the variety of talent that extends far beyond the riding. This is the work of a native Ijebu-Ode and proud horse rider from the Shote Toobola family, Mr. Yusuf Dongo. Now, the artwork, made entirely from scrap metal and discarded objects, stands as his largest upcycled metal sculpture ever. It features the bust of the Awujale of Ijebu land and relief portraits of past and present Baloguns.
I thought about this project 2 to 3 years ago. I feel like we don't really have a symbolic icon that represents Ojude Oba Festival we celebrate today. Talking about Ojude Oba has gained international recognition, and if you look around, we don't have any monumental sculpture that depicts Ojude Oba Festival. We only have Agemo statue at the Itoro roundabout. Then I thought about making something different, making something iconic that can actually promote our culture, heritage.
The recent expansion of the popularity of Ojude Oba, rising from mostly being seen in person to being watched on social media timelines as users scroll their mobile phones, is by and large due to the creative mind of Niyi Fagbemi. A professional and passionate travel and documentary filmmaker, his lens and editing is responsible for the viral coverage of the 2023 and 2024 editions of Ojude Oba.
So my grandmom is actually from Ijebu town, right? And one thing that is actually, quite sad is I actually plan to document the Ojude Oba Festival in 2022. It's something that I'm really passionate about, telling Nigerian stories. I'm a firm believer that we as Africans and we as Nigerians need to tell our own stories in the best way possible. Unfortunately for me, my grandmom passed in 2022, and I did not have any need or any use to actually document it. She actually used to attend the Ojude Oba Festival, so that's actually how I heard about it. Right, I never saw like any images of it online. I just heard that it was this really nice Owambe party that a lot of old people used to attend. Right, so in terms of the visuals we had online, how I had to plan, there was really nothing. So I just had, in 2023, the Ojude Oba itself came again, right? The week before, I was actually not feeling too well, and I had like the option to maybe just rest and do it like the next year, since it was already part of my list, right? So I was persistent and persevered as well, right? So this particular 2023, I decided to document it. And when I was there, after realizing that there was a lot of things that you could not necessarily replicate, right? I know in Lagos we have parties where everybody has like an Owambe, we dress alike. But in terms of having that swagger of elderly people do it and still look so charming, so regal, so glorious, it's something that you cannot necessarily see anywhere else. So I realized that in documenting that particular story, I needed to highlight those things.
Safe to say, the camera lens provides a springboard for certain faces to become poster children of the festival. This snapshot of Farouk Oragba catapulted a relatively unknown face into international stardom, in turn earning him the nickname Mr. Steez. And these statement sunglasses have also become synonymous with the importance of fashion in the crowds. So we asked Niyi for his best tips on how to stand out from the crowd.
Please try and be as natural and be yourself as possible, right? Because one thing that made the 2023 video go really far was people were in their natural environment and they were in their natural element. There was a particular person that really blew, that's Mr. Farouk Oragba, right? He really blew from that event, right? And it was just because he was very natural. That's how he is naturally, right? So I really hope that people remain natural. I know there are a lot of cameras. This year, 2025, there were around 500 people that were dedicated to just content creation. One of the beauty of Ojude Oba is you can't really get those kind of images of people wearing the same ashoke, the same adire around each other, right? So be around your egbe, that way it'll be a lot easier for photographers to capture you and single you out once you have like a very good this thing. And also just have your steez, prepare, have your glasses and just look good and look charming.
It's this visibility which has allowed business brands to infiltrate popular faces and places, making them ambassadors and benefit from the obvious opportunities for marketing. From beverage makers to fashion and accessory houses to financial service providers, they've all seen the ability to monetize the festival for their commercial gain.
As far back as 2018, my face has been on billboards for certain brands, but I wasn't going aggressively at anyone. I just kept doing what I was doing. Then the brands started coming. Not even just coming, brands started fighting. At one point I had to tell my manager that okay, I think to be able to focus on the brands that we have now, maybe we should stop taking brands on and all that, but it's good to see my efforts being rewarded.
In addition to First City Monument Bank, which was founded by the late Otumba Shubomi Balogun, former Olori Oba in Ijebuland, being among the lead sponsors of the Ojude Oba Festival, there is also telecoms giant Glo, founded by Chief Mike Adenuga, who is another son of Ijebu soil. In the lead up to the main event, an evening with Glo brought to stage a host of musicians, including Ebenezer Obey and K1 The Ultimate Wasiu Ayinde, the current Olori Omobai of Ijebuland. At the festival itself, Glo Foundation handed out 6,000 bags of rice to participants and members of the community, stretching out their hands to give back to the people whose culture has given out so much. Speaking of giving back, infrastructure enters the equation. One of Ijebu Ode's worst kept secrets is that the roads in the town are often dilapidated. Our 2022 report featured exactly that, along with calls for development, and it appears those calls are being answered. The Ogun State government, under the leadership of current Governor Prince Dakwa Abiodun, is undoubtedly regenerating Ijebu Ode. At the time of this report, 16 out of the 22 road projects initiated in Ijebu Ode have been completed.
We're indeed very proud as a state that we've managed to evolve to this level. I can only promise you and all those who are watching me that next year's Ojude Oba will actually be bigger and better than this.
Among the roads newly renovated are Talbot and Igbeba roads, vital arteries in the town, linking one of the royal family private homes, schools, the Okeaje market, the High Court, a prison ground and residential areas, as well as hotels. And speaking of hotels, Igbeba Road itself is where Felicity Hotel is found. Boasting more than 30 rooms, a pool, bar and gym, it's one of many hospitality businesses that have been able to reap the business benefits of the host of visitors who flock into Ijebu Ode ahead of Ojude Oba.
I built it about 5 years ago. Initially, I have the problem of the artisans. When you stay abroad and you give them money to do this, to do that, they don't tell you the truth about it. But I was able to weather all those problems through relations and advices from other people. Now, I completed it, and I now come home at least 2 or 3 times a year, and most in particular during Ileya festival, because that is the time hotel business pays. During ordinary time, hotel business relatively before it pays, but now, especially along this street, we have a lot of hotels springing up. But during Ileya, when we expect visitors to come, at least they will want to stay somewhere. Our hotels are full. My hotel is fully booked for the past 4 or 5 years, because I will come a month or 3 weeks before Ileya to make preparations. And even they will book it 2 months, 3 months before Ileya.
The influx of indigents and non-indigents who lodged in the hotels led to 100% occupancy rates. The rental of canopies, chairs, chillers, the sales of assorted drinks, general and unique cuisines, ram merchandising and butchering, event planners, advertisers, marketers, communication and branding experts, videographers, photographers, the fashion industry, transporters, filling stations, roadside joints and hawkers, everybody made money.
To all the sponsors, not just me now, that came back to the roots to sponsor the horse riders, the real owners of Ojude Oba. Across different families, you would see sponsors sponsoring people. It's a big deal for me, for what is what I've been advocating for so many years. Shout out to Goldberg for going all out with me, FDSG Energy, Nala Money, Polo Avenue.
Since 2023, there have been very little brands that have sponsored this event, and even when they sponsor, in terms of the value, it could be just around, let me say, 10 to 20 million per brand, right? But I think this 2025, 2024, we saw more than 5 times growth in terms of the number of brands. So I think this year there were around maybe 50 brands, and each of those brands I'm sure they are bringing nothing less than 50 million to sponsor that particular event.
Local residents, those who have always lived in the town and those who have arrived recently, all say the Ojude Oba festival is a feast for their eyes and their back pocket.
When it is this time of the year, we do have a lot of people in Ijebu. It improves the business. The economy, the financial something will go up. The income of those around this vicinity, those select something. People will come in to buy. We have people come outskirts of Ijebu to sell.
It improves our market because we always have many customers to help us buy our products.
From like 1 month to Ojude Oba, Ijebu is already packed. You can't see any hotels. You hardly see any people to hire like chefs, drivers. You have to bring in people from Lagos, right? So I think for Ogun State, they are missing out on a lot of that revenue.
Many benefits. You see, the benefit that you used to bring to Ijebu land self, your people that is far away, once they come home, they will know what is happening at home, and they will like to contribute their own effort to make that this is our home country, we must invest to it.
Despite the abundance of sales being made and the Naira exchanging hands, there is still a lack of formal data, making calls for economists and the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics to measure the economic impact of the money flowing in and around the festival that much louder. With the growth of the festival, safety is a priority.
Saying it's getting bigger and bigger every year is an understatement because everyone wants to participate. Even people in diaspora, they want to be part of it. So we are trying our best to make it, to an international level. So we can compare with Notting Hill Carnival and, all other carnival in the world.
A culmination of grand horses jumping, people running toward and away from them, and the explosions of noise when traditional guns are fired into the air are part and parcel of a typical Ojude Oba experience. The Arise cameras were rolling and captured the flames engulfing the area. At a distance, the colourful embers seemed like an intentional part of the Kuku family's performance, but up close, it became immediately obvious that people had been seriously injured. Videos circulated on social media showing women writhing in pain with burns to their hands, and we sought to investigate this further. And we found 3 patients receiving treatment for several degrees of burns at the Oluola Special Hospital, a stone's throw away from the palace. The guardians of these 2 19-year-olds said that they had been burned almost beyond recognition. Their agony is so excruciating, all they can do is sleep. Despite injuries to both arms and both legs, one of the patients, Adetola Kuku, is strong enough to verbally recount his ordeal.
What is really happening that Ojude Oba in this year is a very, very terrible something. We have a lot of guns that we are shooting, and bullet, they called it that thing in Yoruba Etu. Are you getting me? In that our family, we are like 10 actors that we are shooting gun. We know how to shoot gun very well. That local gun. No. As we just opened the Etu like this, we just saw light come from nowhere, no traces. And the light caused all this injury to us. We are about 18 people in only one family of Baloguku.
The humidity in the air, the pain of their burns, and the despair of their loved ones all filled the room. But so does their resilience. When asked if they would participate in Ojude Oba again, this is what he had planned for 2026.
I will participate more than how I'm doing like 30 years ago. Next year, I am going to use 2 guns. That's our family gun. I'll be going to do another one too. I will use my left hand and the second hand to shoot one like this, by special grace of Almighty Allah.
Looking ahead to next year's edition of Ojude Oba, there is consensus that crowd management should be upgraded.
Crowd issues have always been happening in Ojude Oba since I was a kid. From the old palace, that was why we moved to the arena. It has always been an issue. I think it's time now where we need to be innovative in the way we welcome guests to Ijebu land to control the crowd. Everyone doesn't have to end up in the stadium. I'm not saying they should segregate or put people outside the palace, or no. You create entertainment in entertainment. Create fan zones where you would even enjoy more than being in the stadium.
What we've seen in 2024 and 2025, now that it has become popular, is that a lot of people go there not because they want to be part of the Regbes, but they just want to attend and see for themselves. So I think we need to cater for those people that are actually coming to attend inside the venue and have like a section where they can sit or where they could stand, and they would not obstruct people.
Already on the horizon for Ojude Oba are greater heights. The Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy and the Ogun State Government have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to drive the implementation of cultural and creative projects in the state.
To be here, to witness this beautiful rainbow of cultures is really something that makes me proud to be a Nigerian. We are really looking forward as an administration, I've spoken about it many times before, leveraging and trying to tap into what is abound within the culture to see how we can empower our people, how we can grow the economy, how we can boost domestic tourism.
As the curtain closes on Ojude Oba 2025, preparations are already underway for 2026. Horses are being trained to dance. New age groups are gathering for formal recognition. Ijebu Ode continues developing. And the people, the sons and daughters of the soil, continue preserving a legacy of culture, unity and tolerance. Long live the king. Long live Ijebu Ode. Long live Ojude Oba. Adefemi Akisoya, Arise News, Ijebu Ode.